Let's move on to module 3. Let me see what I have here. Now that's a whole program to write. Alright, apart from intermediate code generation, there's two other stages of the translation process. That is, what are we talking about here? Lexical analysis and syntactical analysis, semantic. Yeah, so I have lexical, semantic, intermediate code generation. There's one that I'm missing. Lexical analysis, semantic analysis, intermediate code generation. That's what you all had? Lexical and semantic. Those are usually the easiest two to remember, so shouldn't really be a problem. Alright, give two advantages of using a modular approach to programming. One, you can reuse functions and it's easy to debug. Alright, part C, write a function that accepts an integer array. Alright, I think I'll need this white space here to do that C program, so I'll do part C up here. Write a function that accepts an integer array and an integer variable indicating the size of the array. Function should return the sum of all the numbers in the array that are not greater than 100. Alright, so this is int find. So it received an integer array, int arr, and an integer indicating the size, int size. When we get those two, we now have to say, we could do a for loop, we could create a counter. Int c is equal to 0, for c is equal to 0, c less than size, c plus plus, and inside the for loop we are checking to see all the numbers in the array that are not greater than 100. If arrc is less than 100, what do? We sum it. Sum is equal to sum plus arrc. If you don't understand, you could stop and let me know. Sum is equal to sum plus arrc, and you close that off, and then you let the for loop run till the end, and then you return sum. Yeah. So we have a 1 for the data type. We have 1 for getting the right variables passed into the function. You get 1 for our for loop. You get 1 for the if. You get 1 for adding. You have to add arrc, and you get 1 for the return. So now we're going to do part D, which is a kind of standard question where you have like a if statement and you have to check and you have to do like a while loop and whatnot. So let's work this out. Alright, so it says a gym is having a contest. Members are asked to guess the number of jelly beans in a jar. The winner is the member who actually accurately guesses the number of jelly beans, or who guesses closest. So this part here where it says closest is important. So closest to the value without going over. So we have to put some sort of logic in place that will be able to make sure that it doesn't go over. All the information related to the contest is stored in a file called contest.txt, and the first line of the file gives that actual number of jelly beans in the jar. So the first line has the actual number of jelly beans in the jar. Each line thereafter contains guess of a member followed by his own. So if we were to draw the file out, the file would look something like this, right? So we have a file. First line gives the actual number, so let's say the actual number is 572. And then each line after that contains a guess. So you might have a guess of 300, a guess of 200, a guess of 260, a guess of 590, a guess of 210, a guess of 571. And then you'll have a -1 at the end to tell you that we are finished. File is finished. So we have to find a way to go through this file, grab the first number first and store that in a variable called something, and then after that read each one and compare it to see which one it is, and whichever one comes closest without going over, we will keep that as the winner. But they have a guess and then their ID code. So they're like 001, 002, 009, 012, 014. Whatever the ID code is, doesn't matter. We just know it's a 4-digit integer. Okay, good. So let's start. All right, so I'll try to fit everything on one line, but if not, I'll have to go across to the next side, right? So hashtag include stdio.h. So we starting, and then we're going to start the main, void main, and we're going like this, right? So what we want to do is we want to first declare the file and the variables. So we want to declare the file, so we put file asterisk in equals f open brackets. What's the name of the file? Something.txt, contest.txt. How we opening this file is in read mode. So W for read mode, no, R for read mode. And then we need to get variables. So the variables that we know that we have to get so far is the actual number. So we'll have, oh, how did that happen? Yeah. Int actual, put out 0, int guess, put out 0, and int ID, put out 0 also. And then we have to keep track of the winner too. So we'll put winner, right? So everybody will be at 0. Cool. So now we have to start by reading the information from the file. The first thing we have to read from the file is what the actual is. So we're going to do fscan f in %d and actual. So we read from the file, we got the actual, it's stored in the variable actual, and we're good to go. Now we have to loop through all the numbers to figure out what the vote is and if it's a valid vote or not. Yeah. But before we do that, we have to scan to see if we get a -1, because we have to now check to see while the guess is not -1. Yeah. So we're doing right here. So we're going now with fscanf again in %d, and we scanning the vote, and then we're saying while, will I have space to fit this? But yeah, I should have space to fit this. While vote is not equal to -1, what do we want to do? We want to read their ID. So we're scanning their ID. All of these are %Ds and ID, right? After I scan in their ID now, I now have all the information I need to check to see if their vote is correct or not. So I have to say if the vote is less than or equal to actual, and the vote is greater than win, then I want to set win as that vote. As guess, sorry, what I put vote? Oh my goodness, it's guess. I know how to do that. Right, y'all follow me there so far? Any questions so far? So the guess has to be less than the actual, and the guess has to be greater than win. If those things are true, then you want to swap the winner. So you say win is equal to not the vote, but the win is equal to the ID. So that means the winner is we're keeping track of the winner by putting their ID in a variable called win. Alright, after that now, give me 1 second. Right. So we keep track of the winner ID once that is true. If it is not true, then we don't have to do anything, because the only way we're going to swap this ID into the winner is if it meets the requirements. Is there anything else that they ask us to do? It determines and outputs a file with the winning guess and the winner's identification. So we had to keep track of the winning guess too. Okay, so we had to create a variable for win g now will be equal to the guess. So I'll create that variable up here. I'll create win g, that's for winning guess. When g is equal to 0. It come out as wing, but you're not winging it. So win is equal to ID, winning guess is equal to guess. Cool. And that is there. So if the guess is less than the actual, less than or equal to the actual, and the guess is greater than the current value of win, we'll keep track of it and we store them in the correct places. And then we end the while, and now we have to do the output. Alright, so we need to create the output file. So file out equals fopen winner.txt, and that is in write mode. And now we're going to print printf out. The winner is %d with %e, no, with a guess of. Let's put with a guess of. With a guess of %d, and I'm putting in win as one variable and win g as the next one. Cool. And then we close this off. That should be our code there for it. So let's just double check we're making sure we do everything correct. Oh no, we have to scan a new vote before we jump out of the while loop. We have to scan a new vote. So right here, that's if finish. Let's move this up a little bit. What's happening there? Alright, so let's move it up a little bit there. I want to select this, All I'm saying is I want this stupid. Alright, so this curly bracket will go there. Curly bracket. Right, rub off this here. That is my plan. And then I'm going to put in the curly bracket for that there. And before the while loop finishes, I have to read fscanf. And I'm fscanfing the input file for a guess. Nice. So now, when I get a guess now, I'll be able to go back up here. And I still have vote. Why did I put vote? I'm so accustomed to the vote in question with the pineapple and the banana and thing. I just write in vote of habit, bad habit. This is supposed to be guess also. Okay, any questions here so far? We good? Right, so nobody have questions about the answer, right? Everybody got, well, either you got that or you realize why I didn't get it. Now to break this into 15 marks is going to take some doing. So let's see. You will definitely get 1 mark for declaring the output file and declaring the input file. Most of the times it's give it 2 marks for that, but I'll come back to it if I could find the 2 marks for it. Every variable, if you have more than 3 variables, usually is 2 marks. You'll get for every two variables that you put, you'll get a mark. So there are 5, so you'll get like 3 and 2. If you're missing 1 variable, you'll just lose a mark. fscanf, the actual amounts, that's 1 mark definitely, because you gotta get that first. Scanning the guess outside, that is another mark. Doing the while loop to determine the end condition is another mark. Knowing that you have to do a while loop is a mark for sure, and then a mark for the condition. Scanning the ID on the inside first, that's another mark. These conditions here, it definitely had to get 1 mark for the first condition, 1 mark for the second condition. Check to see. And then putting them in the right place to keep track of it. Scanning the guess before you leave, and then printing out all the stuff. I guess that's 15 marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Alright, good. So you're getting 1 mark for reading the file properly using the file pointer. So that should be 15 marks there. No questions? Alright, good. Alright, let's go to the next one. Okay, so this one is write a C program for any 3 integer values. For any 3 integer value, following rules apply. The values cannot be the size of a triangle if the value is 0 or negative, and if the value is greater than the sum of the other 2. Alright, so we have a set of conditions here. We have value can be the size of a triangle if, so it's a lot of ifs, if any value is 0 or negative, and if the value is greater than the sum of the other 2. So that's one if. Values can represent the size of an equilateral triangle if all the values are equal. Cool. Values can represent the size of isosceles if 2 values are equal. Values could represent the size of a scaling if all the values are different. Alright, write a C program and prompts user for 3 integers and prints to the standard output what triangle is represented. If no triangle is represented, print no triangle is represented. Alright, I do have space to write this. Where do I get space to write it? Alright, I'll have to write it really small on this corner here. Let me see if I can fit it here really small. Alright, so hashtag include stdio.h. Right, void main, and prompting the user, print f, enter 3 sides, please. Adequate variables int a, b, and c. Right, scanf %d, %d, and I read in a and B and C. Right, so once I get all 3 of them in, what I'm doing next is I now have to do if, right? So if was the case for the values cannot be the size of a triangle if any value is 0 or negative, and if any value is greater than the sum of the other 2. So that's a long condition there. So if any value is 0 or negative, if a is equal to 0, or no, we could just put the 0 or negative, we could just put less than or equal to 0. Yeah, alright, so we'll just put less than or equal to. So if a is less than or equal to 0, or b is less than or equal to 0, or c is less than or equal to 0. What else are we looking for? Is less than or equal to 0, and if any value is greater than the sum of the other 2. So if a is less than or equal to 0, b is less than 0, or a is greater than a plus b, or b is greater than a plus c, or b. Alright, this one's supposed to be a plus c. If a is greater than a plus, no, this one's supposed to be c plus b. Yeah. Alright, so that's supposed to be if a is greater than c plus b. Right, so this is my condition to say that it's not a triangle, so I'll print f not a triangle. Right, so now I have my next if now. My next if is looking for what? What is the next if? Equilateral if all the values are equal. Okay, so now let's go to equilateral. If A is equal to B and A is equal to C, yeah, that means they're all equal, right? Because if A is equal to B and A is equal to C, that means they're all equal. Then printf equilateral. Next one, if isosceles, if two values are equal. Alright, so for two values to be equal, I'm saying if A is equal to B or A is equal to C. I believe I have to use double equal signs. Yeah, we had to use double equal signs. I didn't put the double equals. Alright, so all of them are putting double equal signs. Let's go again. Alright, yeah, so I missed the double equal signs, so I've put in any double equal signs now. Because if you use single equal signs, that is just comparison. What is equal to B and is or is equal to C. Does that meet the condition, mine? That meet the conditions if the values isosceles if two values are equal. So two values are equal. Yeah, so any two values being equal. So A being equal to B or A equal to C or B being equal to C. Right, that will be the condition for A2 for printf. Right, so we get the isosceles triangle there. And our last if now is if it is scaling if all the values are different. So if A is not equal to B and A is not equal to C and B is not equal to C. Each one compared to each other there. C, A, B, C, B, C, B, A right there. Printf. Scaling. Right, that look like my answer there. Did I leave out anything? Oh, it said to print no triangle is represented. Alright, so I'll put no triangle is represented. Next thing they will take away our mark because I don't write it exactly how they ask. Let's do that properly. You see, to put no triangle is represented. Alright, questions. Any questions? Are you all good? How much marks is it? 11 marks? Yes, 11 marks. So let me see if I could find 11 marks inside here. The 11 marks will be located in declaring the variables A, B, and C. I guess that's 1 mark. Asking them to enter, prompting and reading. That's our next mark. Checking for no triangle represented is... How much conditions do you have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess that they will give you 1 mark for these conditions here and 1 mark for the greater than conditions here. Then a next mark for the condition for the equilateral, next mark for the condition for the isosceles, and next mark for the condition of the scaling, sorry. I'm not too sure. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Alright, so I have 4 marks to find. I guess the 4 marks will be for each if. You're getting 2 marks for each if. They probably give marks based on how much conditions the thing has. So these that have 2 conditions here, they'll probably be 2 marks. And this one here that has multiple conditions will probably be 3 marks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The 11th mark will be, I cannot say. I don't know. I guess it'll have an indentation mark. Indentation and neatness. I've seen that mark somewhere around when I was marking. Indentation and neatness is part of the process. Okay, so that'll be the answer there. That's the 11th mark. Any questions? Let me see what else. Explain it in white space. Cake again. White space is space left in the code to increase readability for other programmers. Yep. Define the term debugging, locating errors in the program that locating errors in the program and fixing them. Basically, explain why programmers should practice proper indentation it makes the code easy to follow by separating control structures. Nice. Very nice. For any Trinidad values, write a C program. That's a program to write out. Well, I have space to write out that program. I guess I'll have to squeeze it on the side here. Yeah, I can squeeze it on the side. Alright, in your answer booklet, we could do part E. In your answer booklet, show the output generated by the following segment of code. Okay, so this is I and J. They didn't say where it started from, but this loop is I is 1 and going to 5. So that's I will end up going from 1 to 4. And then J will end up going from 1 to 5. We're printing I. So the value of I here will be based on what is going on the outer loop. So the first time it runs, it's going to do this loop here 5 times, and in the loop that's going to run 5 times, it's going to print out whatever the value of I is. So you're going to get 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 5 times. And then the outer loop is going to change to, I is going to change from 1 to 2. So then you'll get 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Then you'll get 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. And then I will stop there. Because I will stop at 4. Because it'll never get a chance to reach to 5 because it says I is less than 5. Alright, so you get 1 mark for each line there. Modify the code so that the following output is generated. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can just print out G instead. Yeah, to modify it, you're basically changing the line for I is equal to 1, I less than or equal to 5, I plus plus. And then you're doing the for loop now. For J is equal to 1. J is less than or equal to 5. J plus plus. Print. It's also printf, but who cares if they didn't write C code properly? %D. J. Yeah, once you do that, it will print out the value of J, which will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because the value of J will go up by 1 each time.